it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I've been comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma.
And this a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he, and we are back for another week of conversation. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We are streaming live and direct on Instagram, YouTube, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Facebook Live, as well as LinkedIn. I was trying not to say X, formerly known as Twitter, because they are trying to charge a brother to be able to live stream now on X. So Elon, you know what you can go do to yourself. Anyway, ain't nobody gonna pay for no upgraded package on X just to do all that. But anyway, so we are streaming live and direct. We are on our way. We are pushing for 10,000 followers on YouTube. So we need about almost 10,000 more. No, I'm just kidding. 9,000 and some change. But please be part of that drive. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's Empower TV. We definitely want to be able to get the word out and let people know about the channel and what we've been doing. We've been running for about 4 years now. So very, very happy, very, very proud that we're able to come week in and week out and hopefully talk about subjects that are important to you. And if there are subjects that you would love for us to be able to integrate into our talk, please feel free to reach out to us either by a direct message or sending us an email at theparkermedia@gmail.com. If you are a business owner or you have events that you would like for others to be made aware of, please reach out to us again at theparkermedia@gmail.com. We'd be more than happy to do that as well. Speaking about events, Lori and myself will be going down to the ATL this weekend to cheer on our brothers, the Force MDs. If any of you old school 90s folks remember the Force MDs with Tender Love and Love's House and all them other jams back in the day, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary, and they will be at the backstage in Atlanta on Sunday. I think the show starts at 8 o'clock, doors open at 6. If you're interested, want to find out more, please send me a DM or a quick email at theparkermedia@gmail.com, and I can get y'all information on how to do that. Or you can go to theforcemds.com to be able to get those tickets right off the Eventbrite. If you get them early, they're a little bit cheaper. If you get them at the door, only about $10 more. VIP, well, hey, you know, VIP is a little bit more than that, but it'd be all worth it to see those guys in effect. So can't wait to do that. We have our panel here today. Let's welcome them in. How we doing, Lori?
Doing great.
Well, good. I'm glad you look and feel better than I do. I feel like crap, but I am here. Yeah. Lori gave me the cooties or something, and I've been feeling
I did
bad.
not give you the cooties. You got it from someplace else. That's you was hanging out with folks. That's not me.
My daddy told me older women give you the cooties and the worms. And he ain't never lied. You gave me the worms a long time ago, and
I ain't never give you no worms. Never.
The crud and the cooties, so you know it was to be expected.
No crud, you had on your own. That I didn't give you that.
Anyway, anywho's, let's also welcome in our other guy, Mr. CJ Jones, host of Elephant Exposed, as seen on YouTube, where he goes into a lot of times deep dive issues regarding law enforcement, and can't think of any that are happening currently that he would have to dive into. But you know, I'm sure he's probably shaking some trees to see if there's any stories that could potentially end up on Elephant Exposed. So, without further ado, how you doing, CJ?
I am doing well, my brother, physically, but this beautiful young lady behind me is what I just did my last show about.
I imagine so.
Yes, sir. Miss Sonya Massey. We will say her name. 36-year-old woman, a beautiful woman, is no longer with us. And I do have a breakdown of the elements of what led up to her murder. Uh, Again, this is not one of those situations where you look at it and it's like, oh, I really didn't see. No, this is all undeniable.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
completely undeniable, and it's so undeniable to the fact where I even shared on my Facebook a female police officer from
Mm-hmm.
an undisclosed agency actually called it out. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I watched that, and the only thing I could think of, CJ, was I saw she took her name off of her vest.
she was supposed to.
They
Yeah,
gonna come for her anyway. But I'm glad she did what she did. They those that want to sit there and blindly support another side, which really there can't be another side. But those
exactly.
there are those out there, and I've read some even on my Facebook threads, and I'm just shaking my head like, man, what do police have to do for you to just say, you know what, you can't defend the undefensible? But there are still people that try to defend the damn the whole two sidesing of everything. And it's because people don't want to admit when you just fucked up, just say it. Stop trying to say, yeah, but what about this? And what stop the whataboutism with everything and try to equivocate things. And well,
Mhm.
and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that just throws me that, oh my God, even now with damn video, people still try to go, yeah, well, but you never know. I'll tell you something somebody had said, and it just ticked me off. One, as you know, Randall Hargrove, we do our sports show that's going to be coming up at the end of August. Head to head sports, and he had posted, I will say her name, and he said, no, I'm not anti-cop, but I will say her name. The fact that number one, he had to put that in there was sad because he knew people were going to try to come for him. And one of his friends kind of did and said, yeah, but there's been instances of police getting called out and then being ambushed. And I was like, what? Like, okay,
I guess say you see my face, right?
maybe that happens, but does this look like one of those times? Like,
What
address
does that
on
have to do? Whether that's hypothetical or real,
right. What
what
did that got to do
does
with
that
that?
have to do with this situation?
Nothing, not a damn thing.
Absolutely
It
nothing.
was just his way of trying to soften something that cannot be softened, trying to
Exactly.
cross over something that should not be accepted. And to that officer's point that you post from TikTok that you posted, like she said, you know who should be making the most noise about this is other police
The
officers
police officers.
that have
And that's what
garbage in their
and that's exactly why I posted her.
yes.
That's exactly why I posted
She
her.
was
Number one,
absolutely right.
I did it for two reasons. I did it because number one, she's a pretty white girl, so everybody's probably going to want to look at her instead of my ugly mug. Two, people's attention spans are very, very short.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Three.
ain't gonna lie, CJ. If she hosted Elephant Exposed, I'd watch it like.
Oh yeah, I know you would. And three, she hits all the major points of my reaction show.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's table that just for a second, because if we don't,
yeah,
everybody gonna think this is a Brian Hate the Police show, and it's not. It's just that we gotta stop trying to make everything balanced when it's not balanced. Don't sit there every time when somebody say, hey, why your boy Trump say this? Well, what about the Democrats when they say this and say that?
What about it?
Okay, but you ain't answered the question. You deflected the question. Answering a question with a question is not answering a question.
No,
It's you basically saying, I'd rather not answer the question because I don't have a good answer. But if I throw something else out there to throw you off, then I ain't got to fully answer the question because I cannot defend the undefensible.
There you
So,
go.
like I previously mentioned, everybody, Head Sports is coming in at the end of August. Can't wait, Lori. Sorry, you're gonna lose a lot of days of the week, but it is coming and it is gonna happen. We are doing a different format leading up to the regular season this year, and it's really because I'm well, I'm gonna take Lori with me, but we're gonna be out of town a lot of days in the month of August, and it's gonna delay the show. So we're gonna do something really, really interesting. The 2 weeks leading up to the regular season, one show is going to be all of the AFC teams, and the next week is going to be all of the 16 NFC teams. So 16
Okay.
teams 1 week, 16 teams another week. So we're going to fly through our analysis, our picks, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, maybe it's 3 weeks before. I'll go back and look. I think it's 3 weeks before. 1 week AFC, next week NFC. The following week is going to be our picks who comes out of those divisions, who goes to the playoffs, who ends up going to the AFC and NFC championship games, then who ends up being your eventual Super Bowl participants. We like to do that every single year because by the time February comes around, we like to be able to say, hey,
I told you so.
I told you so. A little bragging, right? Yeah. So we do that. And a lot of times our analysis are pretty close and pretty spot on, if I do say so myself. Of course, you're going to get your surprise teams that pop out of nowhere, seemingly, and be able to, be maybe a year.
Disrupt the status quo.
Yeah. We expected them to do one thing, and maybe they outperformed that. Maybe they were playing over their heads a little bit. It does happen. I think of the Texans with C.J. Stroud last year as a perfect example of that. Nobody expected them to win their division, much less get into the playoffs and anything like that with a rookie quarterback and a bunch of receivers that nobody knew their names before the start of the season. So you will get a team like that from time to time. So, but we're going to have a lot of fun. It'll be season 5 of Head to Head Sports. Can't wait. When we come back from vacation, we'll be starting season 5 of Head to Head with Brian Parker. So this is really, really big. I mean, we started in 2024. 2020. And yeah, we're still going strong and love that to death. So everybody, I'm sure, we talked and I hate to say I was wrong, but I was wrong. I really did not think that even with the mounting pressure that Joe Biden was going to get out of the race, I figured his ego would not let him cave to the pressures of being forced out, but it just became resounding that the Democrats were not going to let this one go. They kept going. More and more people kept coming out, senators, Congress people, and saying that he needs to drop out. And, the thing is, because I kept saying, you know what, it's too close to the convention. What are you going to do? Have an open convention and a lot more chaos? Who are you going to be able to bring in? Because a lot of people were looking over Kamala Harris and acting like they could just bring in Josh Shapiro or Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or Bashir from Kentucky or Roy Cooper and bring those people in and number one sidestep Kamala. But it was like, well, wait a minute. She probably has more delegates. She has some infrastructure because her and Biden shared the same offices. So she's got a leg up. How y'all just gonna dismiss this person? And why would you just dismiss this person? So I was like, well, if it ain't gonna be Kamala, there ain't no way it's gonna happen because the other ones, it would take a lot to ramp up that kind of political infrastructure. And if you try to do that 100 days away from an election, you're going to lose. And I can't imagine too many candidates wanting to sit there and run a campaign that they cannot win. So it just did not seem practical that there would be any kind of movement with Joe Biden. And then on Sunday at 1:55 p.m., he put out a letter announcing that he was pulling back. And we know Nancy Pelosi had a lot in the background to do that. The biggest issue, though, guys, that people were really pointing to was, hey, even if Joe Biden was to win, what effect would it have down ballot? How would it affect governor races? How would it affect local and national Senate and House races? How would it affect judicial things and things like that? And that was a good question. And they kept showing him polling that they think that his team really wasn't exposing him to, showing him that he would be a drag on the party. And with um all of these wars against women's reproductive rights, contraception, same-sex marriage, um, uh, interracial marriage, all these things that are potentially coming down the pike, and some things that are being enacted, or the threat of federal abortion bans and things like that, that's going to make it really, really hard for a lot of these states to be able to do anything if Joe Biden brings down the ballot. So we need a candidate out there that can really draw up enough interest to get things going. And Joe basically stepped aside, and a couple of minutes later, he came out and gave his full throat endorsement of his vice president, Kamala Harris. And immediately, I mean, guys, this is crazy. Within her first 24 hours, did you guys hear her campaign
Yes, sir.
raised $81 million in a
And it
24
reached
hours?
124.
$81 million.
In 24 hours, it hit 100. She hit 100.
She ended up hitting 100. She ended up going over that.
Yeah.
The amount of volunteers that signed up to work in the campaign went from 300 on the regular on any given day to over 10,000. Just the enthusiasm alone. Now, has she been hit with any debates? Has she sat down for a full interview or press conference or anything like that where
Not yet.
we start taking out? It don't no, and it won't matter because the right is already doing hit jobs on her. I heard somebody call her the original hot tour girl, saying that that's how she got her position, is because she got on her knees and was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
I
Yeah,
got some stuff to say about that.
yeah.
But
It's
let's hit
and
Anthony.
honestly, that's probably going to be one of the more tame things that come out of people's mouths. Um, everything's going to point to everything's going to be DEI, which again is the new N word. And if it's not the N word, because I did see a clip today where a congressman used it at the hearing for the director of the Secret Service that they made step down. He called her a DEI hire, and she was a white woman. But the common
Yeah.
thing is that she's a woman.
Yeah.
And the reason, and he was basically alleging the reason that she got her job was because she was a woman, and everybody should know by now that women cannot sit there and do jobs as well as a man. We as a country need to accept the fact that women are inferior, and there's no way in the world that if a woman is put in a position of power and authority, she got it because of DEI, not because of her credentials, not because of her qualifications, not because she can actually do the damn job and probably do it better than a man. It's because she's a woman. Therefore, if she has it and she's a woman, she must have been given it to satisfy some kind of affirmative action or status quo. And as a father of two daughters, let me just go ahead and tell anybody that believes that, number one, you can get the hell off my show anytime. You can unfriend me anytime. And oh, by the way, don't pass go, just go straight to hell. I will never let my daughters believe that there's a job out there that a man is more equipped than a woman to do. Ever. But yet, Kamala Harris is going to get a lot of that. CJ, I'm asking you a question.
Yes, sir.
Because I have friends, and all of my friends aren't my friends because we see everything eye to eye 100%.
Okay.
I respect the fact that friends of mine have their own views on things, but that doesn't mean that sometimes when I read threads from my friends that it just doesn't catch me off guard. And one of my friends had commented, I ain't gonna say his name,
Okay.
but it's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. But one thing that he posted was, and a couple of people have, you know how there's all these memes that go, "I'm with her."
Yes.
Well, there's also memes out there that says, "I'm not with her." And that's fine. I get that. But when you ask people why they're not with her, they start talking about her background. They start talking about things that she's done as an attorney general and as a district attorney and all of that.
Man.
And I've used this expression for a while now. And the expression goes like this, CJ.
Okay.
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
And beautiful.
And what that really goes down to is, have you ever thought that on a job interview you had to be a perfect candidate?
God, can I answer you now?
Oh yeah.
Because you and I don't know, like mentally, like we are twinning right now.
Okay.
Because that was one of the things that was eating me up that I was wanting to address.
I'm just trying to figure out how many people have gone on their job.
Right.
And the expectation was that the person that was trying to hire you figured that you checked all of their boxes and you were the 100% surefire perfect candidate.
Okay. First of all, we need to stop holding people to expectations that even you can't even hold yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's humble ourselves as a community. Okay. As a community, I'm going to say that one more time. Is my mic on? Let's humble ourselves. Okay. Because there is no such thing as the perfect candidate. My mom, before she left this world, she did not vote for Obama. And it was for that particular reason. It wasn't the fact now, granted, a lot of people voted for Obama because he was just simply black. They had no idea about what his politics were. They had no idea what his policies was going to be about or nothing like that. I get that. That's not necessarily a good reason to put somebody off just because we have matching skin tone. Because I mean, let's look at Clarence Thomas. Okay. Anyway, so, but back to what you were saying. I'm sick and tired of our own people and our culture. I'm talking about our hue, okay? Our melanin, eating each other. I'm sick to death of it. I'm to the point to where like I become like my adrenaline pumps, my heart rate goes up, and I want to put hands on the stupid ones because they are constantly looking for some fantastic individual to come in and act like they're gonna just, this political figure is supposed to just overlook the legislation branch, the judicial branch, and just because they are in the executive branch, they're gonna just save Black America. Stop that. Okay? The president, the vice president, their job is to be like the head, the face of the government of the United States. What you are concerned about, what our people is concerned about, is reparations. Okay, I got that. But it won't start at the executive. They just write it in. That starts at your legislative branch. And who occupies that? Your senators. Okay? And then, like what we always say right here on your show, it starts at your local government. Okay? Then it goes up. Worry about what happens on your own front porch first. Then you can start moving up. And things just don't jump into a bill either. I'm sorry, law either. It starts out with a partition. That partition turns into a bill. That bill gets introduced. That bill gets voted on, and then it goes up from the House to the from Congress to the Senate. Then it gets passed into law, and then it is signed off by the president. Let's stop trying to hold, well, because I saw it too. I had a friend of mine too that was like, well, We don't have reparations, and you mean to tell me like she ain't gonna do nothing for us either? First, number one, first things first. Let's put her in office first. Okay, let's put her in office, and then at the same time, stop voting once every freaking 4 years. And and the other thing, stop perpetuating the negative stereotype of, oh, your vote ain't going nowhere. They're gonna put who they're gonna want to put it into. You know, all this feet shuffling and everything else, and because, like how we say many times on your show, when you don't vote, you just supported who won, or you just voted against the person.
Yeah.
So your non-vote is a vote.
Well, and let me jump in there because, and then Lori, I'm gonna come in, but that's kind of the issue because I get what the person is saying. In a vacuum, yes, you do need to make sure that we understand who it is that we're sending to office, and all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We have to understand that, or I may have said backwards, but y'all get me. That we can't just sit there and vote for people just because of their skin color and things like that. Because you know, I'm not gonna say that people should vote for Obama because he's black, because I wouldn't. If the presidential candidate was Tim Scott or Mark Robinson or Candace Owens or Larry Elder or any of those, Ben Carson or any of those.
You named all the coconuts, didn't you?
Yeah, because I'm not going to just vote for them because they're black. I need to know what their policies are. Herschel Walker, when we ain't vote for his ass in Georgia just because he was black, because it was obvious he did not represent a lot of our values. Now, so it has to be more than just skin color. But if the person represents most of your values and they happen to look like you, the looking like you is more of the icing on the cake. Don't mean I wasn't going to eat the cake anyway. It just now means that there's icing on it. Right. So so it's not that it has to be the reason, but can it factor into it when all other things considered are the same or slightly better? Absolutely. I give it the same thing that, hey, what happened in the 90s when Tiger Woods started playing golf? Black folks automatically wanted to start playing golf. Black folks started going to driving ranges and everything else, buying a pair of clubs. Everybody wanted to be the next Tiger Woods.
At the market,
there is an impact that seeing somebody that looks like you have. What is all the little white girls doing now? Buying Caitlin Clark jerseys. Wanted to go to the WNBA because for the longest they perpetuated it as a bunch of black people, a bunch of black thug women out there playing basketball. Now that Caitlin's out there, now all of a sudden they think they got their sport back, if you let them tell it. So representation does matter. It does. It just does. And for all the little girls out there, when they see a Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, and now they aspire to be WNBA players. And Anthony, I'm gonna get to your question in a second. I saw it. That's a good thing. There was nothing wrong with a bunch of black boys. There was the same thing as when Doug Williams became an African-American quarterback. And then you started seeing Randall Cunningham, and you started seeing my man in Pittsburgh. I just lost his name. The dual threat. It's gonna come to me. Used to play for the Steelers back in the day. When black boys started seeing, hey, we can do more than just jump and all this. We can be quarterbacks. We can be the guy calling the plays. And now that's led to now you got Patrick Mahomes. Now you got CJ Stroud. Now you got Bryce Young. Now you got all these other African-American quarterbacks out there that 25 years ago, they told us they weren't smart enough to be in that position. Representation matters. It just does. But when I sit there and I see other black folks coming for Kamala Harris talking about she doesn't represent 100% of everything I believe in, man, if you're married, I want to meet your wife or your husband, because I know damn well they don't represent 100% of everything you believe in. Again, Jay said, why are you holding people in office to standards your ass can't even make? Why are you sitting there telling somebody, when somebody is running for president, it's like a job interview. I'm looking at candidates and I'm trying to find the best candidate I can. Does it mean that they check off 100% of the boxes? No. But do I believe that if I give them this opportunity, they have a really good chance of performing well? Absolutely. But if you're looking for the perfect one, you'll never find them, or you'll rarely find them. Nobody is perfect. And it's funny because if you cascade that with Donald Trump, ain't nobody sitting there asking. Now, if you put Kamala Harris next to Donald Trump and say who has better qualifications, and your answer is Donald Trump, you just are not being honest with yourself. Even though he had been president for 4 years, what did he learn?
Not a damn thing.
What has Kamala Harris done all her life, if not public service?
Oh, yeah. That was the other part.
Senate, being a DA, prosecuting people. She has a longer resume than he does. What does Trump's resume is? Most of the things that he gets involved with end up worse than when it was when he first got into it. Bankrupting casinos, your university being shut down because of fraud. All these different things. Trump states, Trump water, Trump real estate, Trump travel. You know what all those have in common? They don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
That's what they
failure
have.
After failure
after failure. So when you're sitting there and you're trying to say who has more qualifications, she obviously has more qualifications. There's only two things that make her different than Donald Trump. She's a person of color and she's a she.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not telling you that I agree with everything that Kamala Harris brings to the table. Hell, I'm on record saying I don't agree with 100% of what Joe Biden brought to the table. But if you want to sit there and say, well, who's doubled the stock market since 2020? It's Joe Biden. Who's brought unemployment to the lowest levels in over 50 years? Joe Biden. Who's passed bipartisan legislation that has brought more jobs back to this country? Joe Biden. So if you want to sit there and talk facts, or you want to talk about somebody hand-wringing about the late great Hannibal Lecter, or being electrocuted or eaten by sharks, and tell me, so out of 4 years, that's what your guy got out of it is that if I sit on a boat that's powered by a battery, I'm gonna have to choose between electrocution or being eaten by a shark. Or I'm gonna have to opine about a serial killer that is a fictional character.
Oh my God. Listen, man, you touched on it, and you brought me back to one of the things that I was saying that I can't stand for our own when we eat each other, because we're trying to look for such perfection whenever it comes to Kamala. One of the other things that was brought up was even the fact, and this didn't come from white people or the conservatives, by the way. What I'm about to say, this came from our very own, and it pissed me off. The fact of they literally, I'm not gonna say what platform it was, but let's just say they are a lot more popular than ours combined. But they were literally trying to debate with each other about Kamala Harris even being really black. And I was like, man, are you freaking
ain't white enough to be white?
What does it? I don't care if she was freaking green. What does that have to do with her accomplishments, her real qualifications? Oh, and then on top of that, then they pivoted to the whole thing of, yeah, she spent her career locking us up. If she locked you up, then why are you out talking smash? Oh, you mean as overall? Oh, okay. But again, you are only going by what you're being fed. Because like I tell people a whole lot, we are only 13% of this United States population. We can't be everywhere in everything. I'm pretty sure that the state of California don't have all 13% of black men over in her jurisdiction, and she was just cherry picking you and being like, oh, you going to jail, and you going to jail, and you going to jail.
Or they act like that the merits didn't warrant her prosecution. Like, you can't sit there and commit the crime, and then when you show up to court, look over and see that there's a black DA and go, oh, I'm good.
The woman did her job.
Yeah, it don't work
the
like that.
The woman did her job. That's just like if I was still in uniform and I had to show up because your little behind decided you wanted to break the law, and then you sitting up here, oh, come on, Jay. First of all, I'm Officer Jones right now in this capacity, and now you have forced me to do my job.
Yeah.
Now, am I a sellout, or did you just break the law, idiots?
Right. And I'm glad you said that. I was thinking the same situations that I've been in where, I've been a manager or something like that, and I've had to fire a black person, and they looking at me like I turned on them, and I'm thinking,
come on, brother, come on, bro.
You the one that sat there and broke the rules. It doesn't. I'm not firing you because of your color. I'm firing you because you're a dumbass.
Thank you.
I don't care what color you are. But I'm also saying to you is, because I don't care what color you are, because of your color, I'm not going to not do my job. My job is my job, regardless of your color. So the only person that making that an issue is the people that's sitting there doing the stuff they ain't got no business doing. Hey, here's an idea. If you don't break the law, then you don't have to worry about what color the DA is.
Exactly.
I'm gonna just, Lori, I don't know how you feel about that, but I just kind of had that feeling that if you don't do things that's gonna get your ass locked up, you ain't got to worry about what color the DA is. The only color you're gonna have to worry about is orange.
Exactly.
It may be a little brown depending on who your cellmate is, but that's a whole nother thing. So somebody gonna be giving up some booty, and there's gonna be some brown involved. I'm just
oh, guys,
that's all the color you need to worry about. Hey, I'm keeping it real. So Anthony asked early on, question is, do you have an idea of who's going to be Harris's VP? So
I do.
Anthony, here's the funny thing. When Barack Obama ran for president, he knew that people didn't know who he was. He had a funny name. Some people thought it sounded a lot like Osama, as in Bin Laden. And he decided to balance his ticket by bringing in an older white man so that it looks like we just didn't have this radical black man in the office. And they brought in somebody that had a lot of experience. And it was basically to calm down white people's angst about bringing in a black person. So Joe Biden was to be that kind of ebb and flow. There's been talk that there are a lot of candidates out there that would be suited for Harris to do the exact same thing. And it's funny because there's two things that I want to say real quick. Number one, when Trump talked about black jobs, let's keep in mind that Trump got his job from Obama, so Trump was working a black job. Let's also throw in the fact that they talk about DEI hires. All a DEI hire is that you're picking somebody based on what they, you're saying you're picking somebody based on what they look like, and not so much their qualifications. Well, if you bring that into it, then Joe Biden was a DEI hire.
Exactly.
It had more to do with what he looked like, what he represented. Now, did he also have credentials to back up a lot of stuff, foreign policy, all those other things? Yes, but that wasn't the first reason that white folks sat there and felt better when Obama picked him. It was because he was white. So now people say, well, Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris because he pledged to put a woman in as vice president. He didn't say a woman of color, but he did say a woman. And now they call that DEI. That's not DEI. That's somebody saying, you know what? I'm going to find somebody that's good as any man out there that just so happens to be a woman. They never make that connection with DEI. DEI isn't about just finding somebody for the sake of finding somebody. It's finding somebody that does meet that diversity criteria, but still is just as qualified as a male counterpart or a person of color. They don't add that layer into it. So if Kamala goes the route of trying to balance it out, more than likely it's going to be a white man. I don't see her picking somebody like Gretchen Whitmer, because even though she would help her with the Wisconsin, the Michigan, Illinois, that Rust Belt, maybe even Ohio to an extent voter, the fact that you have two women at the top of the ticket, that's going to be hard only because of where this country is. Not that I would have anything against it. The other thing too that you got to remember is you don't want your number two to outshine your number one. And think about it like football, which is why think about Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears. Well, they had to get rid of Justin Fields because you can't have Justin Fields backing him up because some people still think he's pretty good. Or better yet, the guy that went over to the Commanders, they had to get rid of their quarterback because they didn't want him to have that kind of competition backing him up. You know, if you want him to be the clear number one, you want him to feel like his job ain't in jeopardy every time he does a bad play. They're going to be calling from the stands to throw in the backup quarterback. So you want them to be confident, capable. You know, it's kind of like your backup quarterback. You know where they're most valuable? In the quarterback room. You know, in your ear. Got the ball cap on with the clipboard, showing you things on the surface that you can see that maybe you couldn't see because you were out there on the field. That's what you want your backup to do. That's what a vice president is. So you want somebody that will know their role, accept their role, not publicly embarrass you or step over you.
Correct.
So all of those things would go into that. Who would have the temperament to be able to fill that role completely? And they're going to look for a white man that could do that. Now, my personal bet is either Roy Cooper of North Carolina, Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Shapiro in Pennsylvania. Some people said J.D. Pritzker of Illinois. I think J.D.'s just too much of he's a good fundraiser, but I think his bombastic personality would overshadow Kamala. I don't think that would work. People have brought up Mark Kelly, the former astronaut, now U.S. Senator in Arizona, to be able to help pull the Arizona and maybe Las Vegas vote. That's a possibility. You know, he's more famous for being Gabby Giffords' husband than he is for being an astronaut. If you remember, Gabby Giffords was the congresswoman that was shot outside of a grocery store years ago. He was known as Gabby Giffords' husband for the longest, even though he was an accomplished astronaut. So there's a lot of ways they can go with it. My personal preference, if I could draw it up, Anthony, would be Wes Moore from Maryland. But that ain't gonna happen. But if it was a Harris Moore ticket, God damn. Well, because Wes Moore is a star. People overlook Wes Moore a lot. Wes Moore is a freaking star. And Maryland is a purple state because they had Larry Hogan right before they had Wes Moore. And Larry Hogan's Republican, now running for a Senate seat. Wes Moore being now in Maryland is really, really going to put a drag on Larry Hogan. And he just said, "What about Larry Hogan?" Larry Hogan. I don't know if you're proposing what if Kamala ran with Larry. I could see that turning on some independents, but my fear is, would it turn off more base than the independents that you would bring? You want to bring in independents, but you don't want to do it at the expense of turning off your base going, okay, not only did she bring in a white man, she brought in a damn Republican. You know, what sense does that make? And then you got to also remember, too, that if something happened to her, or say, for instance, the 25th Amendment got addressed by Hogan and a certain percentage of the cabinet, and they put her black ass out, now you got a Republican as the president.
Right. And you know what? But using that same train of thought, though, that was the only reason why I was in between Budapest, how you say it? Buttigieg and Cooper. but using your train of thought, because I'm thinking, okay, given that he's an openly gay male,
Yep.
that's really gonna like turn some wrenches and really set him on fire, because
I think
people are gonna want to see that white man, but no, the white man is gay, so we can't put him in. And so like you can see that just really like setting the base on fire.
But you know what though?
Yes,
Be
sir.
honest. You know what will put that to rest real quick?
What's that?
Because I love Buttigieg. I love that as a pick because of the diversity that it would show. But I'm gonna tell you what would put to rest everything you just said. The minute Buttigieg and JD Vance have a damn debate, and Buttigieg just rips him freaking shreds. I would pay for that. I mean, seriously, if they put that on Dad's Son, like
if you guys have never heard Buttigieg,
the dude he's a Rhodes Scholar. The dude is not dumb. He's
like for real. Like this guy has got his stuff together. Like I mean, honest to God, bro. Like off the spot. I mean, I say off the spot, but like off the top of his head. I mean, this guy is like, yes, he is. And I'm talking like live.
Ty, please tell
I've seen this man get interviewed like live.
Yes.
And they thought that they was going to throw him curveballs and hard questions,
and he just handles them in their own. He'll go
just
on
like our girl. What's her name on the 5? They can't stand her.
Tarloff.
Yeah. Those two. Oh my God.
But I've seen Pete just go into enemy territory, and they just. I mean,
and he does it with a smile. He does it with such dignity.
Does he take it? Yeah, they don't know what to do with him, and they keep bringing him back on. Like this is the moment we gonna finally get Pete, and it never works out, and they keep on bringing him back. I don't know what's wrong with these.
They do. Jessica has her own spot. That's what I'm just like. Y'all hired the woman, and she eats you up every time.
Yep, and Atai says he crushed the audience questions. Unscripted, domestic, foreign relations, healthcare, religion, and that's the truth.
Yes, sir.
He don't need no teleprompter or not. He's just spitting it straight out his dome, and he's 100% accurate with his facts. Even when they bring him, if you've ever seen any of these Capitol Hill hearings where they try to get him about electric, they keep trying to say that there's a mandate of electrical vehicles, and they keep trying to explain to him there's no mandate. If you want a gas-powered car, you can get a gas-powered car. He's just simply saying, hey, we're providing people with other options. We're also requiring these gas companies, these gas folks that make gas vehicle cars to have better emission standards. And over years, we've gotten better with emission standards where you're saving more money at the pump because it doesn't cost you as much to fill up your car as it is in years past. But he's always so spot on. I don't know if these people just have a propensity for pain or what, but they never. I mean, it's like wrestling a pig. You can't get him down.
You can't get him.
You can't. But they keep trying. And I'm just like, yo, go
and that's what I say. So Pete would be my pick.
I love it.
Like he would be my first pick. Second pick, I haven't heard of Mr. Westmore. And you brought up Mark Kelly. I only heard about him when I was looking at the lineup. I mean, and just off the fact that he was an astronaut, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Well, he's an astronaut
too, though. Other than being Gap, well, that wasn't the only reason. His
and then Cooper only just because he's home.
Yeah,
kind of like how I look at the Panthers. It's
Roy to me is very,
why not for the home team?
Okay. So Roy, if you look at it this way, he's safe.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like okay, yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to run a campaign and talk about Roy Cooper as some, even though they'll try.
Yeah,
he's some radical liberal. He's not.
He's not.
He ain't a blue dog Democrat either. If I had to say, is he more progressive? Probably. Is he AOC progressive? Bernie Sanders progressive? No. Jamal Bowman progressive? No.
No.
No. But is he what would white folks feel safe voting for Roy Cooper? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Andy Bashir is more progressive. I like Bashir because he's younger, just like I like Buttigieg. Because we got to get out of this thing about trying to bring in people in their damn 70s and then complain because they start showing signs of age. No shit.
Yeah.
You know,
No kid.
if I sit there and don't decide to buy a 2024 model car this year and I want to go buy a 2000, and then 6 months down from now, I get mad because the fuel pump went bad, that's my fault. That ain't the car. Then I get the fuel pump fixed, and then another 3 months go, and the oil pan messed up, or it needed an alignment, or the serpentine belt done broke, or the check engine light done came on. You know, I would venture to say that ain't the car's fault. That's the car doing what it should do at that age.
So why you mad at it?
That's why you mad. When Joe Biden ran for president back in 2016, I mean,
you knew he was old then.
2020, y'all knew he was old then.
Yep.
And most presidents will try to run for re-election. So all you had to do from then was add 8 to it.
You know what? And see, that's what we talk about, my brother. My brother, listen to me. This is what we mean by, and this is what our girl Taraji P was talking about. You got to stop playing checkers and play chess.
Yes.
If there's one thing that you have to give first, you have to give credit where credit is due. I say that all the time, but I really do mean that. If it's a couple things that the Republicans have on the Democrats, they are thinking not this election, but 1 and 2 more elections behind it. They are already 8 years down the road, and you sitting up here. That's why they don't lobby. That's why they don't lobby to us, because they know that we're surface thinkers. We're surface vision people. We're just, right here, right now. Oh, okay. And that's why they're able to do what they're able to do. That's why they move the way they move, because they know. It's just like how Willie Lynch said it in the letter. If you don't want for them to know, put it in the book. We're in the age of information, and the information is just right there at your fingertips. Hell, you don't have to type it in no more. You can just speak it into the mic, and it'll give you everything that you're looking for. And you're too lazy to do that?
Yeah.
That's the part that I can't get over. Even if you don't know something.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you are being willfully ignorant. And it's sickening.
It is. CJ, I'm gonna close it out with this.
Yes,
and then after we come back from break, then we'll get into the Sonya Massey. But I'm gonna just say this, guys. This is how we lost Roe v. Wade. Driving asleep at the wheel. So let me break it down to you. Whether it's Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, whether you say you're not with her, you need to be with somebody. If you're not with Kamala Harris, you're with Donald Trump. I don't want to make it seem like it's just that simple, but it's just that simple.
Exactly.
And the reason that it's just that simple is there's really only 2 people running. Yeah, you can bring in RFK if you want. He has no chance of winning. All he has is playing the role of spoiler. He has no legitimate chance to win the presidency. I hate to use the term wasted vote, but if you vote for RFK, you write in a candidate, you don't vote, you're wasting your vote. Exactly. This election is bigger than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. This election is about who is going to be able to pick the next 2 Supreme Court justices. We already have a 6-3 unhinged, out of control Supreme Court with Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas doing everything they want, and at times being able to bring Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and John Roberts into the fold as well. If Donald Trump wins, Alito and Thomas more than likely will resign while there's a Republican president, in an attempt to then let that President Trump bring in 2 younger versions of Alito and Thomas and screw us for another 40 years.
Exactly.
this would be their time to get out so that they don't have an incident happen to them like what happened to us with RBG, where she died on the bench, and then they were able to throw in Amy Coney Barrett on us 2 weeks before the election. They will get out before their health deteriorates and they die on the bench. And then if it's a Democrat, they get replaced by a more liberal judge. They don't want any more Sotomayor's, Jackson Browns, or Kagan's on the bench. So if Donald Trump wins, he is going to let Clarence Thomas and Alito take their money bags out the door because they will get paid to leave, and they'll get paid handsomely. And then the Heritage Foundation will help Donald Trump find 2 more judges that are just as extreme, if not worse, about banning contraception, um, any of those things, of full abortion bans and things like that. So y'all keep in mind, it's not just about if you're 100% with her, because if you're not, then you're going to be supporting all this other stuff. I understand that y'all ain't happy with Gaza. I understand that y'all ain't happy with civil rights. I understand that you ain't happy with voting rights. I understand that you're not happy with a lot of these different things. But the alternative is what you have to look at. You can't just look at it as I'm not with her. I don't know if it's because she's a woman. I don't know if because she's black. But I do understand that if you don't vote for her and you sit out this vote or you vote for him, understand what it is that you're supporting. And these rights that we keep losing, we're going to lose more and more of those. All right. I said all of that. I know Instagram fell off. We're going to get it back. Lori's going to sit there and run 2 commercials for us while I work on getting Instagram back and loaded. And we'll be back on the other side to talk about Sonya Massey, and we will say her name. Run it, Lori. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help you navigate through that process. We know that a home is more than just a place to live. It creates memories. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help. Give us a call and let us get started on your journey. Introducing Sawyer, Kid Lawyer, Teacher versus Nap Time, a great book that will help your little one with reading, writing, and spelling. Coming from the authors Shanine and Sheldon Muldrow. Please check this book out and support. Thank you so much. We're back.
Cool.
1 second. Let me get Instagram up. I almost got it. Almost had it, Lori. Still on the trigger today. All right, go live. There we go. All right. All right, we're back on Instagram as well. Yeah, Instagram only gives us that 1 hour at a time, so we have to always break at the top of the hour for that. But we got another half hour to go. So, CJ, well, one of my friends from my job had sent me over the body cam footage of the whole Sonya Massey shooting. And I will say it's very surprising that the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office released the body cam footage so fast. A lot of times between police unions and the departments, they try to do a lot of CYA. They try to cover a lot of things up. So I will applaud the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office for releasing this footage as fast as they could, get it out there to be able to show the tragedy that happened. For anyone that's not aware of this, Saginaw County is in Illinois, I believe. And there was a woman, Sonya Massey, that called police because she felt like there was a potential burglar outside. And the body cam footage shows where 2 officers called to the area were walking around her premises and the surrounding neighborhood, seeing if there was any kind of activity. Um, the only thing that they saw outside was outside in her driveway. Oh, feedback. Who was that? Woo. Yeah, that might be a mic. Yeah, Lori went mute. That's not Lori. Let me go mute. Yes, yeah. Yep. I don't know. Something happened with your mic is catching a bunch of feedback or something. But anyway, the only thing they found was a car that had busted windows. Looked like somebody smashed it. I don't know, shot it or something. And they knocked on her door and no answer. Knocked again, no answer. Knocked a couple times, no answer. They called dispatch, asked dispatch to give her a call, let her know that the officers were outside. They heard the phone ringing. Eventually, she did come to the door. I don't have the footage. I didn't want to download it and play it because it's um, triggering. So I'm narrating it the best that I can. There was a little bit of talk back and forth. They finally went inside. They were trying to just fill out their report, it seemed like, and they wanted to get her information, but she was having a hard time talking to them. There was obviously something wrong. Um, and before they even went in the house, one of them asked her, you having a, good day? Is this a good mental day or something like that, that he alluded to that maybe he knew that maybe she had some issues. And she had said something about she had taken her meds or something. I heard her say that. Um, but she was just kind of scatterbrained, a little bit all over the place, looking for what they were asking. Long story short, they noticed that she had a pot on the stove. They wanted to overflow, so one of them suggested that she go and turn it down. And in the midst of her over at the stove, uh, one of them had said something that I think maybe she just didn't quite comprehend. And she just said to the guy while she was holding the pot, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And he said, "You're going to do what?" And she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And he said, "You better not." Now, I've never heard anybody's response to that as "you better not." Now, I don't know, and I'm not defending the officer at all, CJ. So don't come for me. If he thought when she said "I rebuke you," if he didn't understand what rebuking is and thought that she meant, "Hey, I'm holding this pot of water and I'm about to douse you with it." Even if he did, even if he did, the distance between her with a boiling pot of water and where he was, number one, was probably enough that had she tried to throw him a pot of scalding water, he could have simply sidestepped and got out of the way. She didn't look big enough to be able to throw that pot that damn far anyway. Secondly, that is not a reason to take somebody out with a headshot. That's an execution. If you really felt like she was dangerous, you could have shot her in the leg. Hell, you could have shot her arm where she was holding the thing. You could have shot the damn pot. You could have fired a warning shot. Why'd you fire a warning shot? Okay, I'm sure you can feel correct. Your mic is still haywire. I'll just tap it or something. I don't know why it wasn't doing that earlier. You hear it, Lori? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I want you to jump in. Your mic is messing you up. But yeah, but my point is there could have been 100 different things done as opposed to shooting somebody in their head for holding a boiling pot of water. that does not make somebody a threat. That does not make somebody dangerous. Hell, if you're a black man, you live with a black woman, there's always the possibility of getting hit with a pan or a pot full of hot grits, depending on what time you come in at night. That does not make her a threat. Lori, a lot of times, has looked at me and then looked over at the stove. I ain't trying to say the two are the same, but I know how that is. CJ, jump on in, bro.
So, okay, I just heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, getting a lot of feedback.
Okay. Now, man, you know what? This is strange because I was talking perfectly fine at the front part of this. So basically, man, this look, I'm just gonna call it.
Going for Jermaine driving that truck around.
Yeah.
I think they
right.
are.
Nah, man, the devil just don't want for me to break this thing down on your platform.
Go ahead. It's dying down. It's dying down. Go ahead.
Okay. Good. So here's the thing. I know, and you don't have to be law enforcement in order to use what we like to call common sense, even though even common sense ain't common. Let's just say a reasonable minded person. Okay, a reasonable minded person can put this together. Okay, so let us start with even where they are inside her residence. And yes, you were absolutely correct. There was like a couch, a bar, something, but anyway, it was a lot of space. And whether Sister Massey was altogether what I would say like had complete control and capacity of her own mental self, something within her, and I'm gonna call it for what it is. Her spirit did not agree with his spirit, and she called it out. As what happens with a lot of us in everyday walk of life, especially when it comes to a believer versus a non-believer. Our spirits just don't mesh, and you want to, I don't like this person, I don't like this person, and because your spirits are not they're at war with one another. But even still, even if you are not spiritually insightful enough to even understand that, we can still bring it back to the physical. There was nothing that Sonya had in her possession. You couldn't even say that she could lunge at him, any of those things. Number one, she was outnumbered. Two, way outgunned. And like you said, and I even said it in my reaction video. That's why I want for people to see it. It's a little long, but I break down frame by frame. And I walk you through all of their commentary, all the way up to the point to where he took her life unnecessarily and then discouraged his partner from trying to at least show some form of empathy. Okay, so he got pissed off because she had something to say. He immediately drops back in a defensive posture stance. If you are in law enforcement, we call it reactionary gap. But basically, he already knew what he was wanting to do. And any police officer that has any baseline training, when you see it, you know exactly what he did. He went back to a shooting stance. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Not only that, he came up and drew down on her headshot only. That is not the way that we are trained. He wanted to make sure that she was not going to be able to take another breath. He cussed her out. He told her exactly what he was going to do. And even upon him drawing his weapon out towards her head. The first reaction is anybody's reaction. B, you tower over me. Okay, I'm only 5'5". But if I bring out a gun, yes, I am. But here's the thing. If I bring out a gun, all of a sudden, guess who's the tall one? Because the first thing you're going to do is, and that's exactly what she did. She withdrew and said, oh, I'm sorry. And as she was putting the pot down, then that's when you heard drop the pot, pop, pop, pop. That's just like whenever you and I go over those videos to where we're telling, we see police officers using excessive force, using their tasers. It's the same thing. They're telling them to drop, whatever the case may be, or stop moving or whatever, but you are constantly tasing somebody so the body can't help but react to electricity flowing through the body. It's going to move.
And CJ, real quick, not to cut you off, but he said, quote, well, she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. He said, quote, you better fucking not, or I swear to God, I will
shoot you in the head. He articulated exactly
what he was going to do, and then he did it.
That's your murder. That's your murder. Premeditated.
Yeah, he said,
cold-blooded.
Not, or I'm going to shoot you in the effing face. Now, and that's exactly what he did. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, if you want to know the elements or the definition, or it's only a handful of reasons why I'm gonna just keep it in my wheelhouse. There's only a handful of circumstances that a police officer is authorized to use their firearm. Okay, and that's in defense of themselves, or defense of others, meaning like another police officer, or intimate threat to like the community. Okay.
Why couldn't he have fired a warning shot?
No such thing. No such thing. That's why you have what we call the ladder of force continuum. It's no longer called the ladder of force.
Why couldn't he have tased her?
Exactly. That's why you have a taser. That's why you have an OC spray. That's why you have and I would have got pissed off if she would have got hit by a collapsible baton. Because again, of where you have to strike her. Okay. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. You know, at first I was going to save it, but I'm going to go ahead and just break it down. When he's at the door and you see his size versus her size.
Yes.
Just that alone.
Yes.
Just that alone. He could have his forearm. His arm, guys, is bigger than her body.
Yep.
He wanted to kill. He came there to kill. Maybe not necessarily her, like by saying like I'm gonna kill this woman, but in his mentality, guys, he was just looking for a reason, because Black lives to him truly don't matter. This man had been transferred not once, not twice, not three, but 6 times since the year of 2020.
But CJ, but what was weird about that though is up until she went over to the pot, it seemed like they were trying to be calm and patient with her.
No, the partner was. He wasn't.
Yeah,
and
the partner had his body camera on the whole time. Not the guy that shot.
Exactly. Okay. So again, your first officer or your first officer is what we commonly refer to as your contact officer, because he's the one that knocks on the door. He's the one that does what we call the field interview. Okay. Yeah. The partner had to interject a few times just to try to balance out what we call tension, or what you guys would call escalation or de-escalation of a situation, because he came there with a chip on his shoulder. He came there with an attitude. And see, you watch my show. I'm telling you, I break it down. He came in there. He came on the scene. As a matter of fact, even the blonde lady even said it. Okay? Because why?
Well, yeah, because he even
officers
got
officers.
on the other guy because he didn't feel like he knocked hard enough on the door. Remember that part where he was like, "Ah, I don't knock."
I mean, and like the whole thing was, oh, you took long enough. Okay,
Right.
so what?
Yeah.
You're there to provide a service to the public, and not just because they necessarily look like you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all right. So this is the thing, guys. He came there, like, again, not necessarily having her name on a list, but he just let the devil use him, period. And he took Miss Sonya's life. Had Sonya been anybody else other than a black woman, other than her being black, I have seen officers get shot at. I've seen it. I've seen officers get attacked. I've seen officers actually, they have the weapon. A guy is standing there with a sword or a sword in his hand, and they turn tail, jump in their vehicles, and take off.
But do they ever return fire with a headshot?
Say again?
Do they return fire with a headshot?
No.
This dude went straight executioner.
That's what I'm saying.
That shot, there would be, I mean, there's one thing to neutralize a perceived threat.
And that's, thank you. And you're just saying it. You're saying it. You are trained, no matter what agency you work for, no matter whether you are county, city, or federal. We are all taught to shoot center mass, the largest entity of your target, which is common. And when you're talking about a human body, it's going to be somewhere in the abdomen. That's why you have the big silhouettes. Why? And that's why the 0 spot is dead center of the chest, because it is the easiest and the biggest place to hit. When that man shot Sonya, he meant to kill her. He meant to kill her.
Yeah. And you know what was crazy? A couple of other things that he said after he killed her. He told the other officer, dude, I'm not taking effing boiling water to the effing head. And look, it came right to our feet too. And then he also told somebody else, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came at me with boiling water. And then they alluded to in this one story that he didn't activate his body camera until after he fatally shot her. But the other dude's body camera was on from the get-go.
It was on the whole time. It was on the whole time.
The other guy was going to go get his medical kit, but said, nah, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
Nah, she's done. That's a headshot. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. Listen, I had to study it. And I'm telling you, like, even right now, I'm trying not to get emotional as I talk about it, because I had to look at this video over and over again. At first, I did not even want to do the reaction, but so many people know my background and they wanted to hear me break this thing down. And I'm telling y'all, I did it, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do, because I'm tired of my people getting mowed down and being made martyrs just off of just racism, stupidity, and just flat out ignorance and everything else. I'm sick to death of it, man. Mm-hmm. This is why I stayed off the platform for so long, because you know how often we get mowed down like dirt, like things that are lower than dirt. That's why I haven't done Elephant Exposed in so long. But even when I had my own ex-wife to call me up and be like, CJ, you got to do this one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was called out of I don't know what you call it, but I was mentally done. It takes a toll on you.
You was on a little hiatus. That's all. Yeah.
So I was called out of it just to do it.
Yeah.
Because people need to know. They need to understand. And bump all these whataboutisms and well, you knows and all this other stuff. People do that whenever it does not affect them.
Well, they
People
do that.
Say these things
they do that, CJ, because they do not want to acknowledge that this had to be based on race. I think there's so many people out there, and yes, I'll say white people, that are tired of things being based on race. Why can't y'all get past the race card? Why can't y'all sit there and this and y'all sit there and say that? This is the reason why. Because
there is no amount of training.
There's anybody out there that believes if this was Miss Molly White holding a older white woman holding that same boiling water, the same result would have happened. If you believe that, then it's going to be hard for you to understand what we're saying and why we're saying it.
Listen, I can tell you right now had Sonya been white, I'm gonna tell you exactly what that backup officer would have done. Okay, and the backup officer would have done it, if not the contact officer. The backup officer would have saw that boiling hot pot of water and just said, hang on a second, wait a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this water off. Okay, sorry about the distraction. Let's go ahead and okay, so ma'am, do you need help? Do you need for us to go ahead and contact the medics for you? What hospital do you feel like you need to go to? They would have broke out the proverbial red carpet.
Exactly. That's my point.
If Sonya had been white.
So white people understand that we're not attacking all white people.
No, we're not.
We're not attacking all police officers. But the problem, what enrages a lot of people is the deference given to police officers in general to say, okay, yeah, like the guy on Randall's page that was talking about, yeah, but there's also times when police are called out and they've been ambushed. Bro, use stuff in its proper context. If you watch this body camera footage, there was nothing that was remotely close to officers being called into some place where somebody had the high ground and shot from above and took them out. It was nothing like that. We can't compare two things that don't even go together and say, well, yeah, but there's been time. Well, this wasn't one of them damn times.
Exactly.
So let's address the fact at hand that this officer overstepped. And to Sangamon Police's credit, this happened on July the 6th. They fired him around the 17th once there was an investigation. Once they saw the body cam footage, they fired him, and they said his actions do not support what was going on. And in short order, he has been indicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder. Now, if you don't understand what the degrees mean, first degree is premeditated. Because he told her what he was going to do, and then he did it. And he sat there and did a quick reaction, didn't say nothing, they might have brought it down to manslaughter or second degree.
No.
You vocalized what he was going to do. Now, yeah, they would have said it was reckless. It could have been this. It could have been that. Did he have a legitimate fear for his life? All that other bull stuff. They couldn't even go with that because this dumb SOB thinking that he's a cop and he can say and do whatever he wants, literally told her, if you do, I'm going to shoot you in the effing face. And by God, that's what he did. So you get premeditated when basically somebody can tell that you went in with the desired result. He didn't go in there thinking, oh, I might nick her. I might sit there and, give her a flesh wound or something like that. No, I'm going to take this bitch out is what was in his mind. She going down today. One way or another.
He called her a B.
Yeah, he did.
As a matter of fact, like he when he was talking to the other officers that came in,
Yep.
it's what we call the rapid response ones.
Yeah,
They're coming in kind of like after the fact. He referred to her even then.
Yeah,
it was
I'm good.
it was
Bitch is crazy.
him taking her out. This man had no remorse. It was nothing about her life meant nothing to him.
Nothing.
Even after you took this individual out, you were still disrespecting them by calling them out their name. That cements everything. That cements everything. You're supposed to have at least some form of empathy, some form of humanity within you, being like, man, I didn't want to have to try. She gave me no choice. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like when he came in, it's like, oh man, I didn't have a choice, man. I felt like and oh my gosh, man, I hit, like, he didn't even question his shot. He didn't even question his shot. See, you gotta understand, it's so many things to the human reaction that gives it all away, that he left no room for doubt that he just wanted to kill her, and he succeeded.
And CJ, unfortunately,
in like manner, this man needs to be held accountable to everything that's coming to him. Now, I don't know Illinois' penalty system, but this man needs to, and I mean this, he needs to die in jail. He needs to die in prison.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He don't need no death penalty. He needs to spend every day in there. And I would prefer if his cell actually was a mural of her.
Exactly.
Look at it every day.
I would decorate. I would have her pictures up. I would have like little reels constantly running of every time he did it. Yes, I would. And I know God is a forgiving God. And you know what? Because I know that God is a forgiving God, I would say this much as a faith-believing man. God can save your soul, but he will still hold you accountable.
Well, God can have your soul, but your ass is mine.
I like that.
You know, what you and God work out in the afterlife, that's up to y'all.
Yes, sir. That's right here, and God, but right here, render to Caesar that is which of Caesar.
Yeah. I'm gonna need that ass. I'm gonna need that ass. But the problem is qualified immunity a lot of times gives these guys the belief of the saying out there, and I know we're running over, Lori, but there's a saying out there is better to be judged by 12 than carried out by 6.
Yeah, rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Yeah, that's a law enforcement saying.
Yeah, and all that really goes back to is that we find that the justice system will protect us better than if we don't do anything and then we end up losing our life. But this wasn't even a situation where hot water would have done anything to you. But he tried to act like she was in risk. She wasn't even in a position of pulling back to throw the water. She was just putting it up.
Watch my show. Watch my show. I can tell you hadn't watched it.
If anybody knows about how somebody would get water from a pot onto you, there's a range of motion. You mean to tell me that if she was literally in her range of motion, you wouldn't either A, have the ability to step aside. She only get one shot with it because all the water gonna come out the pot.
Exactly.
So if she missed, now all of a sudden she don't have no water. You can tase her, or you can come around and handcuff her.
You can just manhandle her. That's what I was saying. And see, that's what I was alluding to.
There were way of options. His only option was, I need to shoot her. And I need to shoot her to the point that I can tell my partner it's a headshot. You don't need to go waste your time with a medical kit. She ain't coming back from this. And show no remorse whatsoever. The fact that he's shown no remorse, that's going to make it real hard in court for him. The fact that, and like you said, CJ, a lot of people do not look at everybody's lives as equal. They just honestly don't. And that is the problem. And I'm going to wrap us up for the night because I know we're over, and I know, like I said, we could go 2 hours into this topic because there's just so many layers to this. But I just want people to understand that we're not against law enforcement, but what we're tired of is when law enforcement is against the community that they serve. That they sit there and feel like that they have this God complex, and when somebody says something to them they perceive to be even slightly disrespectful, death is on the table. If they
Right.
feel like that they're being disrespected, your life didn't mean nothing when he first got there, and it won't mean any much more once they feel like you said something that is that they perceive to be disrespectful. Now you're on borrowed time. And unfortunately, the family of Sonya Massey had to sit there and watch this 36-minute body cam footage. But again, end where I started. I give the Sangamon Sheriff's Department a lot of credit because they released this very quickly within less than 2 weeks of getting a hold of that body cam footage and put it out there. And then the DA went and did what they had to do, and he is being held in jail without
Right
bond.
now. Right
So,
now.
so they couldn't even convince the judge that he need to have any bail posted so he can walk free. He gonna sit there until trial.
That's correct.
So even though Sonya's not here, Sonya, we're gonna continue to say your name. We're gonna continue to scream for justice. But we know all of this is an after fact. We would love to had it was we didn't have to do this with Sonya, that she'd still be here today. But unfortunately, society is still in a place where, as much as people like to say, the response to Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, this is my response to that. Apparently not. You can take that however you want to take it. You can keep making up excuses. You can keep both siding, equivocating things. But ask Sonya's family, or you say that to Sonya's family. You save that for them. You tell them about ambushes and all these other things that you think played into that other than the color of her skin. You tell that. You tell that to them. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go with that. That's gonna have to do. I'm not even gonna do what I hate or what I can't remember the name of my own damn thing.
What I don't like.
What I don't like, because hell, we just did a 30-minute segment on that. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. But what I will like is knowing that this man is gonna figure out what a brown hole surprise and a mud pie is in prison. He gonna find out real quick. Somebody and trust me, whoever his cellmate is, yeah, he gonna find out what a bitch really is. I'll leave y'all with that. This is Brian Parker with Head to Head. We'll catch y'all again next week. And check us out on YouTube. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all again soon. Thanks.
This is ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma.